In the mists of time where myth and history intertwine, the story of Rome begins, a city destined to become the heartbeat of the Western world. From its humble origins on the banks of the Tiber River to its transformation into a civilization that shaped law, governance, culture, and human ambition, Rome's legacy is a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people. The Romans, with their ingenuity, resilience, and vision, forged an empire that stretched across continents, leaving an indelible mark on history. This is the tale of Rome, a saga of triumph, tragedy, and transcendence, carried forward by extraordinary figures and the collective will of a remarkable people. The story of Rome begins with a legend as timeless as the city itself. In 753 BCE, according to tradition, Romulus, the first of our 5 major figures, founded Rome on the Palatine Hill. Born of divine lineage, Romulus and his twin brother Remus were said to be the sons of Rhea, Silvia, and Mars, the god of war. Abandoned at birth and left to perish in the Tiber, the twins were miraculously saved by a she-wolf who nurtured them until a shepherd took them in. As young men, the brothers sought to establish a city, but a tragic dispute over leadership ended with Romulus slaying Remus. Thus, Romulus became Rome's first king, naming the city after himself. Romulus was more than a founder. He was a visionary who laid the foundations of Roman society. He organized the fledgling city into tribes, established a senate, and welcomed settlers, outcasts, exiles, and adventurers, creating a melting pot of ambition and grit. Under his rule, Rome grew from a cluster of huts into a fortified settlement. The abduction of Sabine women, a controversial act, ensured the city's survival by securing alliances and future generations. Romulus's reign set the tone for Rome's tenacity and adaptability, qualities that would define its people for centuries. The Romans of this era were a hardy, resourceful people, scratching out a living in a rugged landscape. Their early society was built on loyalty to family, respect for the gods, and a fierce determination to thrive. These values, discipline, piety, and unity, became the bedrock of Roman identity, propelling the city from obscurity to prominence. By the 6th century BCE, Rome had cast off its kings and birthed a republic, a revolutionary system where power rested with the people and their elected representatives. The Roman Republic was a marvel of governance, blending the wisdom of the Senate with the voice of the plebeians through assemblies and tribunes. This system, though imperfect, fostered a sense of civic duty that united Romans across classes. Enter Marcus Tullius Cicero, the second of our pivotal figures, whose eloquence and intellect shaped the Republic's golden age. Cicero, a lawyer, orator, and statesman, rose from modest origins to become a defender of Roman values. His speeches, such as those against the conspirator Catiline, electrified the Senate and rallied the people against threats to the Republic. Cicero's writings on law, justice, and governance works, like De Oratore and De Re Publica, articulated a vision of a state guided by reason and virtue. His ideas influenced not only Rome, but also the Enlightenment thinkers who would later shape modern democracies. The Roman people of the Republic were builders and innovators. They constructed aqueducts to bring water to their growing city, laid roads that connected distant lands, and developed a legal system that emphasized fairness and precedent. The 12 Tables, Rome's first written laws, reflected a commitment to justice that resonates in legal codes today. Roman engineers and architects, driven by a practical genius, created enduring structures like the Cloaca Maxima, a sewer system that kept the city livable. The Romans' ability to blend pragmatism with ambition allowed them to conquer neighboring tribes, Etruscans, Samnites, and Gauls, expanding their influence across Italy. Yet, the Republic was not without strife. Class struggles between patricians and plebeians, and the pressures of expansion tested Rome's unity. The Punic Wars against Carthage showcased Roman resilience. Heroes like Scipio Africanus defeated Hannibal, ensuring Rome's dominance in the Mediterranean. The Roman people's willingness to endure sacrifice, levying armies, rebuilding after defeats, cemented their reputation as a force of unbreakable will. As Rome's empire grew, so did its challenges. Wealth from conquests widened inequality, and powerful generals vied for control. Into this turbulent era stepped Gaius Julius Caesar, our third major figure, whose ambition and genius reshaped Rome's destiny. Caesar, a brilliant military commander and shrewd politician, rose through the ranks, forging alliances with Pompey and Crassus in the First Triumvirate. His conquest of Gaul from 58 to 50 BCE expanded Rome's borders and brought immense wealth, but it also sparked envy among rivals. Caesar's crossing of the Rubicon River in 49 BCE, defying the Senate's orders, ignited a civil war that ended the Republic's fragile balance. His victory over Pompey and subsequent appointment as Dictator Perpetuo, meaning dictator for life, alarmed traditionalists who feared one-man rule. On the Ides of March, 44 BCE, Caesar was assassinated by senators, including his ally Brutus, in a desperate bid to save the Republic. Yet Caesar's death did not restore the old order. It plunged Rome into chaos. Caesar's legacy was transformative. His reforms, restructuring the courts, expanding citizenship, and creating the Julian calendar, strengthened Rome's administration. His vision of a unified empire inspired the Romans to dream beyond their city's walls. The Roman people, from soldiers to merchants, embraced this ambition, spreading their culture, language, and laws across the Mediterranean. Latin became the lingua franca, and Roman citizenship a coveted privilege, uniting diverse peoples under a single identity. From the ashes of the Republic rose the Roman Empire, guided by the steady hand of Gaius Octavius, known as Augustus, our fourth major figure. The adopted heir of Caesar, Augustus emerged victorious from the civil wars that followed his mentor's death, defeating Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Proclaimed princeps, meaning first citizen, Augustus cleverly maintained the facade of a republic while consolidating power as Rome's first emperor. Under Augustus, Rome entered the Pax Romana, a 200-year period of relative peace and prosperity. He reformed the army, established the Praetorian Guard, and rebuilt Rome with marble temples, theaters, and forums, famously boasting, "I found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble." His reign saw the flourishing of Roman culture, with poets like Virgil, whose Aeneid celebrated Rome's divine destiny, and historians like Livy, who chronicled its rise. Augustus' administrative genius, dividing the empire into provinces, standardizing taxes, and fostering trade, created a stable, interconnected world. The Roman people thrived during this golden age. Their roads, stretching over 250,000 miles, linked distant provinces, facilitating commerce and communication. Roman aqueducts, like the Aqua Appia, supplied cities with fresh water, while monumental structures like the Colosseum and the Pantheon showcased their architectural prowess. The Romans' ability to absorb and adapt foreign cultures, Greek philosophy, Egyptian grain, Celtic craftsmanship, made their empire a vibrant mosaic. Their laws, codified under Augustus, influenced legal systems for centuries, from the Code of Justinian to modern civil law. As the empire grew, so did its challenges: economic strain, barbarian invasions, and internal divisions. By the 3rd century CE, Rome faced crises that threatened its survival. Into this era stepped Constantine the Great, our fifth major figure, whose reign marked a turning point in Roman and world history. Constantine, a military leader, rose to power during the Tetrarchy, a system of shared rule designed to stabilize the empire. His victory at the Battle of Milvian Bridge in 312 CE, inspired by a vision of the Christian cross, cemented his authority and changed Rome's spiritual landscape. Constantine's embrace of Christianity, formalized by the Edict of Milan in 313 CE, granted tolerance to Christians and set the stage for the faith's dominance. He founded Constantinople in modern Istanbul as a new capital, blending Roman grandeur with Christian ideals. This new Rome became a beacon of the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, preserving Roman traditions for another millennium. Constantine's patronage of churches, like the Basilica of St. Peter, transformed Rome into a Christian center, shaping the religious and cultural trajectory of Europe. The Roman people adapted to this seismic shift. Christianity, once persecuted, became a unifying force, with Roman organizational skills aiding the spread of the church. Bishops adopted Roman administrative structures, and Latin remained the liturgical language. The Romans' ability to integrate new ideas while preserving their core identity ensured their influence endured, even as the Western Empire faced decline. By the 5th century CE, the Western Roman Empire buckled under the weight of invasions, economic woes, and internal decay. In 476 CE, the last emperor Romulus Augustulus was deposed by the Italian king Odoacer, marking the traditional fall of Rome. Yet the Roman spirit did not vanish. The Eastern Roman Empire thrived as Byzantium, and Rome's legacy lived on in the West through the Catholic Church, which preserved Roman law, language, and culture. The Roman people's contributions are staggering. Their legal system inspired modern jurisprudence, from the concept of innocent until proven guilty to the structure of contracts and property rights. Roman engineering, roads, bridges, aqueducts, set standards unmatched until the modern era. Their language, Latin, birthed the Romance languages and remains the root of scientific and legal terminology. Roman literature, philosophy, and governance influenced the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and the founding of modern democracies, including the United States, whose capital and Senate echo Rome's ideals. Rome's influence permeates art, architecture, and urban planning. The Colosseum's design informs modern stadiums, while Roman arches and domes grace cities worldwide. The Romans' emphasis on civic virtue, duty, honor, and public service continues to inspire leaders and citizens. Even in defeat, Rome's fall taught resilience, as its institutions adapted to new realities. The true greatness of Rome lies not in its emperors or conquests, but in its people. Farmers, soldiers, artisans, and senators alike built a civilization that transcended time. Their discipline turned swamps into cities. Their ambition forged an empire. Their adaptability wove diverse cultures into a single tapestry. The Romans were not perfect. Slavery, inequality, and violence marred their story. But their ability to learn, innovate, and endure made them extraordinary. From Romulus's vision to Cicero's words, Caesar's ambition, Augustus's stability, and Constantine's transformation, the Roman people carried forward a legacy of human potential. Their story is one of struggle and triumph, of building something greater than themselves. Today, when we walk the streets of Rome, stand in the shadow of the Colosseum, or read the words of Cicero, we feel the pulse of a people who dared to dream big and change the world forever.